Well, thanks for joining on our show, man. This is awesome. We're real pumped about it.
Yes, Dave, it's an honor to speak to you, man. I've heard you on other shows before, actually years ago, so it's kind of trippy for me now to be talking to you today. And
I've been
my
on a
partner here,
few.
Travis, is a big flat Earth guy. I'm not so much sold on it yet, so I'm looking forward to this presentation.
Well, after we're done, I'm going to ask you why you believe you live on a globe and try not to sound like a complete idiot when you're trying to defend your position and you have nothing to hold it to. Don't. And by the way, any fun I make of you guys, I'm making fun of myself because I was you, but probably worse.
Hey, hey, not me. I'm on your side, man. I
Yeah.
I didn't believe it until I started looking into Antarctica and
Uh,
started looking into those things, and then you know what? After that, I was like, you know what? The round Earth doesn't make sense in my head either. The flat Earth does. Like to be, I can give you a little explanation. I think that we live in like where there's all different like territories where we're giant, like like a petri dish almost, like somebody's science experiments where we're just there and there's all these different lands outside of where we can't get to because they're stopping us from going there. I don't
so
I don't think the round Earth.
yeah, so let me just comment on that because you know I love going there, but to prove the Earth is flat, we don't need to start speculating about lands out beyond Antarctica. I think there's lands beyond there. I think it's a whole big thing, but that's not what you need to prove flat Earth. You want to prove flat Earth? You can prove it in your own yard. You just get a super zoom camera. There's a whole bunch of things you can do that you can actually test and confirm, uh, you know, that the Earth is not a spinning ball. What's beyond Antarctica? I'll talk about that all day. But again, we're speculating. We don't have any proof. We want to be able to go to Antarctica and independently explore. So
Yeah.
you with me there?
Yeah.
You don't want to base the conversation around speculation. You want to show me
Well,
the hard, solid proof that you have.
I have to tell you, there's all types of flat earthers out there. Some that like talking about lands beyond. That's me. I do love talking about that, but I'll talk about proofs all day first. Um,
Yeah.
then there's other people that like the lands beyond Antarctica are stupid. It's stupid. You're making the flat earth look stupid. You should be talking about the moon map. Okay. There's other people that says the moon map is the most ridiculous thing ever. Okay. I think they're both valid, but again, they all need more investigation. So any flat earther that's listening to the show, if you don't like what I'm talking about, do your own podcast. Okay. Go out and talk to other people. So there's too much to talk about to cover everything in one show or even 10 shows. There's just too much. So it's just we see where the
Definitely.
conversation goes. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think the idea of more lands, extra territory beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, um, has brought more than 50% of the people over to flat Earth. Just that
Yeah.
clicking, like, oh my God, that makes sense. Think about this: all wars, all struggles between all, countries. What are they over? Land and resources, and population control. Well, if you just convince everybody that there's nothing else but this, what's inside this circle, you've just kept everything for yourself. You don't even have to fight over it because there's nobody, there's nobody that's even going to go after it because they don't even know. Right? It's like Truman.
Yeah.
It's like the Truman Show.
I just watched that
Wow.
movie last night, actually.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good analogy. That's a
it,
great analogy. That so obviously I'm still a conspiracy guy. Flat Earth is just, as you know, very very out there. Like I can agree that 9/11 was a false flag, something like that. I can get on board with. Flat Earth is just a little bit harder to
all right.
sell
Well, we're
me
going to take
on.
care of that today. That we're gonna
Awesome.
definitely take care of that today. So think about this. Well, what are some things that would definitely prove that we're not on the globe? Well, I say it's exploring beyond the shoreline of Antarctica independently and exploring the north also because no one's allowed to go to the north. Check this out. The two places we're not allowed to go. You go on Google Earth on the web version and you can draw an outline around a country and it tells you the square miles. Perfect. Works perfectly. Great. Right?
Yeah.
Try it around Antarctica. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Look what it does. Why is it doing that? Why did it make this? Why did it? What's going on here? If you think about it, you took the flat Earth and you wrapped it around a ball. You cut out all that land. The thing doesn't know what to do, right? So
Yeah.
let's try. We're gonna go up north. Let's see where do we go next here. Um, we'll go to The North Pole. All right.
There really is no like North Pole though.
Yeah, here's the North Pole, and guess what? The same thing happens up there. Watch, bam. What is
Yeah.
going on there? So,
They don't.
so the two places that we can't go virtually or physically are the two places that would prove that we live on a globe.
Yeah. Because
Look,
like
I, Greenland works.
everywhere will work, right?
Yeah,
Even,
everywhere
like,
except those two locations.
so even I found like when I first started to get into this is like if you go to the same thing you're on there, the globe there, and you go to Antarctica and you zoom down to the bottom, it's got that giant cross in there that makes no sense. There's no actual like footage or land, and then all of a sudden you can go inside of a building that doesn't show any buildings there, and you can go inside of this building and it's some Brazilian hiring agency that you can go on. If you zoom right into the dead center of the Antarctica, there's like this little dot, and that
I did
opens up
not
to
know
like
that. Can you show me? Can you send me that
showed
after
me
we're
this one
done?
time. It was crazy.
yeah.
Dave,
After
you
we're
gotta
done,
see this, man.
Yeah.
this is how I got onto the flat. I don't know if like you can share. If you go to the Antarctica there and zoom down into it, you'll find there's this little circle, and if you can do it on that map right now if you want,
Well,
and then
this
in
is
this
just
little
a recording. This is just I haven't set it up where I can
okay,
share Google Earth. I'm gonna have it set up soon so I can do that live. But I'll check it out and
I will send it to
I'll
you.
put it in my next video. Oh yeah, please do, please do.
Yeah.
A screenshot or something on
Yeah.
email.
So basically, what happens is that when you zoom in on this thing, you get down and there's a circle with a cross in it, like, and it's just a pattern of a cross. And when you zoom in right to the bottom of it, like just above, it'll have these like 3 or 4 little indents. So you click on that indent and it brings you inside of a building called I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a Spanish or Brazilian place. And it's a Brazilian hiring agency that's worth like $48 billion. And it's got weird little like
And it's in
reflection
Antarctica.
pictures.
It's showing it in
It's in-
Antarctica.
But it doesn't show the outside of the building. You can only go and then you see the inside of the building.
Get out of
if
town.
you like,
Get out
I
of
swear
town.
to God.
you showed me this, and I was
Yeah, that's how I got
shocked,
Jackson
man.
on it because I'm about like
Right.
the inconsistencies of the world and the things that they show you and they don't show you. Like I started looking into like the old age of the time, like the buildings, like the great fires that happened, and then all of a sudden we changed the world, like all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, none of it makes any sense, and everything's been changed. And like, so I believe the flat Earth there's a whole lot of things that just don't make sense,
Oops.
and the flat Earth is the only one that does.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I'm glad I could show something to you. That's pretty cool.
Well, I want to see it. It sounds amazing. I have to see it. What's going on?
Yes, I will. I'll send you like a screen recording of me doing it.
So Dave, let me ask you something, man.
Yeah.
There's these clues that like what you just showed on the Google Earth there. There's almost like hints that this is the case, that the Earth is flat. Do you think they purposefully give us these clues for those who are, inquisitive enough to go and look into it for themselves? Do they leave this here so that we can figure it out? It's
a great question. I flop back and forth between they're lazy, they're stupid, they're poking fun at us, or they're required to do it. I don't know the answer. I don't know, but it is kind of interesting. But just you were just talking about the old buildings and all this stuff. Do you guys watch My Lunch Break?
No, I've never seen it.
You guys have my app?
We don't actually,
What's
but
your app called? I'll download it right now.
you
don't have to download it right now. It's okay. But you can find the YouTube channel, My Lunch Break. He goes into these old buildings, finds the history, finds about the fires, and basically, if it says fire, then you know they're lying. Okay.
Yes.
And he breaks it all down. So if you want to learn about the old world, these top 4 here in the homeschool section on the app are phenomenal, mind blowing stuff. This guy puts out 1 video a week. So does John Levy. And
I was going to say John Levi.
Yeah, John's great, but this guy's a little more detailed. John's great. He's very more artistic, but this guy is like drilling down, and he's showing you stuff that is just undeniable. It's fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, like because I looked into Toronto because we're from near Toronto here. Well, some of Toronto, and like we have a place called Casa Loma, and it was built in 4 years after they had a giant fire in Toronto, and somehow they shipped it all from about an hour away, all the stones and concrete with horses and buggies. Like it just doesn't make any sense, and it's got all underground tunnels through everything. Like that was there before. there's something that happened that they won't tell us, and it happened around the 30s, right, or just before.
Yeah.
It's a reset event, in my opinion. These are reset events that are going on, and so another thing I wanted to ask you is that now that so many people are catching on to flat Earth, Dave, now that so many people are looking it up, they're obviously making these great efforts to censor it on YouTube. We know it's like the most researched quote conspiracy theory online, right?
Right.
So do you think that the events that are happening around the world right now, you know, that are kind of like clamping down on our freedom and stuff, is that in reaction to the fact that people are starting to wake up to flat Earth?
It might be, you know, it could be that that there is a reset coming and they know it and they don't care. But flat, you know, people like, you know, with all the child trafficking and the wars and the shortages and poverty, with all that going on, why do you care about the shape of the Earth? And it's because people are lost in space that they're able to get away with all of that nonsense. It's because people don't know who they are, what they are, where they live. That's how the elite, you know, the powers that be, get away with all of this stuff. If you're spinning out of control, lost in space, you don't know where your feet are planted, you don't know who you are, you don't know your true power, you don't know that your thoughts create your reality, then they have total control of you. And then if you watch the news, which gives you cancer, you're in their mind control. And then, you know, what do people do? They work all day and they'll watch the news while they're having dinner or something. Then they'll watch Netflix, you know, then they'll watch sports and they'll drink and then they go back to work and then they die. Right. And that's what they want. They want you just as a slave in the system. Now, why? To make money for them? Well, money is how they control the world. Money makes this world go round. The only thing that makes it go round, because it doesn't go round, sun goes around. Yeah. They're doing it. It's more of an energetic spiritual war that we're in. They're using our energy. They want us living in fear. They want us in that low vibration. They thrive off of that. And it's really a satanic system we live in. It's weird to say that, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. You just can't. So, yeah. So getting back to the flat Earth for a minute, what makes you still hold on to the globe? What's your name? That's the Glober.
My name is Jackson.
Jackson.
I wouldn't call myself a Glober.
He's
okay.
I suspend judgment until
I like that.
Evidence to
I like
go
that.
either way, pretty much.
So let's just drill down through some things that are making you hold on to the globe. Like, give me a reason that you think the Earth might be a globe.
I have a great reason. So
Go.
I'm a big fan of Alex Jones.
Okay.
Alex Jones, woke me up during COVID, and I'm a supporter of Infowars, and I think that he speaks a lot of truth, and he's a guy that says flat Earth is, basically just there to discredit the movement.
We actually all said that, but did you know that I was on Infowars right here?
No.
So me, Eddie Bravo, Sam Tripoli, I was on Infowars for a solid hour, I think. And we blew Alex's mind, and this is what happened. Alex was obsessed. Yeah, if you get my app and you just search Infowars in the video search section, you'll find that video. Alex was obsessed. He's like, this is crazy. This is wild. And he goes, you know what? I want to go to Antarctica. And he was actually ready to mega fund a trip to Antarctica, which it eventually it wouldn't work. They're just not going to let him. But the fact that Alex Jones was trying to go to Antarctica to explore, and then if they let him, that's bad. And if they stopped him, that's worse, because it's Alex Jones. He's got a big mouth. He's got a big platform. And one day he literally came into work, pulled everyone in the room and says, oh, by the way, half his staff, his assistant, everybody is flat earthers. Greg Reese, flat earther. Right. And
Greg Reese, the flat earther? I didn't
know.
Oh
my God. So on the app, if you go to the video search and type in Greg Reese, he put out some great videos. One of them is on Antarctica. This guy right here. This is phenomenal. And it's Greg Reese style, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it is. That video and the Alex Jones video will turn you into flat earther. But Alex brings everyone together and says, anybody that mentions flat earth again is fired, and he walks out. So now listen, this is what I think. Everyone's Alex Jones is a shill. Alex Jones woke me up. He's the one that woke me up to the Federal Reserve and all sorts of stuff. And but I think he's also gate kept. Now he's not a willful gatekeeper, but I think there's the powers that be let him know, hey, you can go over here, you can go over here, you can talk about everything you want, but if we call you and say, don't talk about the school in Connecticut anymore, then you stop. And that's what he did. He stopped. And don't talk about flat earth anymore. Then he stopped. He goes, so he has a choice to make. You're a truth seeker. You're waking tons of people up. He's waking tons of people up. And they say, well, just don't talk about these two little things. Talk about everything else. You got to make a choice. Do you throw your whole empire in the ground? Nobody wakes up from anything. I mean, he's the one that said the frogs are gay because of atrazine. Everyone said he was crazy, right? I want my Alex Jones is right t-shirt. Okay. Alex Jones was right about everything. So
I'm with InfoWars at right now, man.
Yeah.
But
Alex,
that's crazy. I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I don't know if you'll find it on InfoWars. He might have hidden it by now, but he does not allow anyone to talk about flat Earth. Now, when I first heard about flat Earth, I just said flat Earth is I just immediately said flat Earth is a psyop to discredit everything else, right? Alex doesn't have time to look into flat Earth deeply. The only looking in he's ever done, besides a Google search, which will send you backwards, is when he talked to me and to Eddie Bravo. Okay. But he's not diving in deep. His mind is going too fast. He's doing too many things. God bless him. He's doing a lot of good for the world. Hey, would I do everything like Alex Jones? Like he does some crazy shit. But guess what? I do some crazy shit. I talk about the outer lands when people are like freaking out that I'm talking about that. Okay. But Alex is secretly a flat earther, if you ask me.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
and Greg Reese has put out amazing stuff. If you guys aren't subscribed to Greg Reese, his friggin' Substack is phenomenal. His videos are every single video is hard hitting and amazing.
Well, and there's so Greg Reese obviously uploads to Band Off Video, but if you know about the anonymous YouTube page that has like I think a couple million subscribers, they're constantly reposting his content on YouTube. And he's getting millions of views there alone.
Yeah, and Anonymous reposts our stuff. Anonymous stole one of what, and you know what Anonymous does? I don't know if they do it to Greg, but they'll literally take a video and scrub any identifying information about who made it and make it their own. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy.
I noticed them doing that. I definitely all they do is repurpose other people's content, right?
Yeah, but it's not very fair.
Are they doing good though? Because that's also millions of new people that are seeing that, right?
No, I'm with you. But if you're an Anonymous fan, they're flat earthers over there. They're flat earthers over there. So I still didn't hear your proof. Well, you're because Alex Jones says the Earth is it's a psyop. That's your proof.
No, I mean, like basically, I have a few different sources that I go to that I trust in terms of hearing the real information. And I wasn't saying that like indefinitely that was my proof that the Earth is flat. I'm just saying that when I hear guys like him say that the Earth is not flat and that space is real, and he's talking about kind of mainstream space stuff, that makes me start to wonder.
I mean,
I know is doing irreparable damage to the system. I didn't think he's controlled, but when you mentioned the gatekeeping thing and that there's certain subjects that
I believe that too. I think he is.
I could buy that
because I've even said that before to us. Like I think he's only allowed to say so much because he's in that area, or in that position where he can tell certain things. But then how much is he telling us to take you down the wrong path where you're not looking the right way?
And the thing is, honestly, if I was in his position and they said, hey, if you talk about this, we're going to chop your legs off, kill your wife and kids and and whatever, and shut your whole empire down, I would have to comply. I would have to comply because he's still doing good. He's still getting plenty of information out there. So there you go on that. So let's talk about it. Let's jump over to one flat earth proof. If the earth is a globe, it has to have curvature, right?
Yeah. And I don't
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like, for the planes, all the things like the NASA, like nobody accounts for the curvature. Or like I was listening to one of your things the other day about submarines, how they don't just launch right out of the water, like they should. But
they should. Tunnels should launch right out of the ground too, unless they're curving down.
Yeah.
So there has to be curvature. There's four or three. I think there's 4 curvature formulas, and they're all very good and very close, over distances up to 2,000 miles. Within 2,000 miles, they're off like 10 feet, 20 feet, or something like that, which is nobody can see 2,000 miles. All right. You can't see that far because of atmospheric density. And the one that we use is based off of the Pythagorean theorem. It's 8 inches per mile squared. It's the simplest one. And it gives the globe the benefit of the doubt. It has the least amount of curvature in it. So we're giving it the benefit of the doubt. So the one that we use, 8 inches per mile squared, that means at 1 mile, 1 times 1 is 1 times 8 inches, 8 inches a curve. 2 miles, 2 times 2 is 4 times 8 is 32 inches. 3 miles is 6 feet of curvature. Okay. And it goes up from there. So large bodies of water at rest lie flat, testably, scientifically, provably flat. Okay. Water, when it's cold and it's at rest, it freezes. So here we have a frozen canal, lake, whatever it is. And we have our guy, he's got the camera 6 inches off the ice. Okay. 6 inches off the ice. He's set up these 4 lights. They're just lights, and they're about a foot off the ground, 8 miles, 7, 6, and 5 miles away. All right. Now, the Globers like to say, oh, refraction, standard refraction. So at night in the cold, there's 0 refraction. Even I don't believe that refraction ever lifts anything up from behind something. It'll take something and push it down, but it won't take something from behind a solid object and lift it up, right? So these things should be using their stupid refraction. There's more like 44 feet, I think, but I rounded down everything. Benefit of the doubt, benefit of the doubt, benefit of the doubt. 30 feet, 22 feet, 15 feet, and 9 feet below a physical curve. All right. If this is a curve and my mouth is behind it, you can't see it because I'm behind a curve. I'm behind the curve. But for some reason, they all showed up right there on the same line. Now, is the Earth conspiring to make you think that it's flat? Right? This is a impossibility. Now, does it mean the Earth is flat? Nope. It could mean the Earth is 1,000 times bigger than they tell us. And if it's 1,000 times bigger, there's 1,000 times more continents that we don't know about. Okay.
And it's massive. So I did have a question for you, if you know this, because I was thinking about it and it just bothered my head. So we live on this round Earth, like they say, and if you live at the equator and then somebody else lives at the very top or the very bottom, how are we even in the same time? Like the day, like a 24 hours, like a spin of the Earth would not be the same at the top and the middle because of the size difference, according to, around Earth, if you know what I'm trying to get at here. Like, if you were to put somebody who lives at the top here, and then when it spins around the Earth spinning to someone who lives at the equator, that can't be the same distance.
Well, so this is what time zones are supposed to look like. Whoops, I'm not there yet. Hold on a second. I'm on the wrong screen. Where are we? Right there. All right. So this is what time zones are supposed to be. On a ball, you got 24 lines separating the ball like sections in an orange. And each one of them is a time zone. These are how the time zones are. Now look how they go from North Pole to South Pole, right? So if you had a light, pointing right here, that's the sun. As it spins, wherever the sun is pointing, that's noon. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Time zones.
Yeah.
Time zones. Makes perfect sense. One problem is the Earth is tilted. They tell us the Earth is tilted. So the sun rays are coming in straight. So they would go, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4 time zones between here and there. 4 time zones.
Yeah.
They have it all in one time zone the way they have it. That's problem number 1. Okay. That's problem number 1. The other problem is if you take the flat Earth, okay, and you wrap it around a sphere. So you get the flat Earth, and where is my flat Earth thing? Earth. There it is. Okay. You take this, you cut it out, right? You cut it out. And so nobody knows what's beyond there. And then you wrap it around a sphere like this. You wrap it around, you're taking those edges and it's all crumpling down. Imagine you have a ring of paper, like 3 feet wide or whatever, and you wrap it around a basketball. It's all going to be crumpled at the bottom. The top's not going to be too bad, but as you get below the equator of that ball, it's going to be all crumpled. You with me?
Yeah. I got
So you have to squeeze it all together. So let's go back to time zones. Um, in the north, inside the Tropic of Cancer, in the inner north, we have 19 time zones. There's not 24, there's 19. In between the
Yeah.
tropics, there's 24 time zones. And in the south, there's 32 time zones.
Yeah, because it's wrapped around. Like
No,
they're making
no. If they
like-
wrapped it around, there would be 24. There would be.
Yeah.
The problem is there's more space. So those
Yeah.
those time zones would get bigger and bigger and bigger. So they had to add more time zones. 32.
Yeah.
This alone proves that they're hiding the flat Earth. There's
Yeah.
32 time zones in the outer south. How do you explain that on a ball? If there's 32
Yeah.
time zones in the south, there should be 32 time zones in the north. On a ball, there's symmetry.
Yeah. And even like I was thinking, like, you know, if you're down in Argentina where it's supposed to be really hot weather all the time, then all of a sudden, like from the globe, it's not too far of a jump to get to Antarctica from what the globe looks like, at least. How the hell is it just that terrible weather? But then you got like summer, you know, that distance away by their, you know, like an actual globe or whatnot. That's what they show you. Like it doesn't look too far. They always go to Argentina to get to fucking whatever you call it. I've lost my train of thought here.
Santiago over to Australia. You're talking about
No. I'm just talking about from Argentina to Antarctica. Like where like it shows on the like a globe, it's the shortest distance. That's where they would go to get there. But like, how come there's so much of a difference of like temperature in that little zone? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, it's just I find it simple things that you just use your common sense. You're like, oh, common sense says like it doesn't make any goddamn sense that we're living on this ball,
right?
right? You
yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you. Just if you remember the World Cup, they played in Doha right here, and then they won. They want to go back to Buenos Aires, so they flew to Rome to get fuel.
Yeah, it makes no
Then
sense.
they flew here on a flat Earth.
No kidding.
Doha, Rome, Buenos Aires.
Yeah. Or even like emergency flights where when they stop for emergency landings.
Here's the problem, Dave.
What?
I love this. This is all really. You know what? You're convincing me right now. I won't lie, man. I'm really leaning towards being a flat earther here. Just seeing the last couple of things you've shown me. But if I were to go and take this information to my dad and start to show him even the first thing, he would cut me off right then and there and probably tell me to get the hell out of the house.
Well,
Ask what kind of drugs I'm on.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But know what you could do? You could say, hey, Dad, we had this guy on our podcast today, and he's offering 3 Bitcoins. You know how much that is? It's Bitcoins that hit like 70,000 today. Okay, so that's over $200,000. He's offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. Just 1, right? Help me out. And then and I'll show you some videos and say, hey, let's watch this video. This is 21 proofs. We can probably find 1 globe proof in it. And then if he watches that, he's toast. It's 21 seeds that are planted in him. It's like it's getting 21 boosters. You're not gonna survive. What? What's that?
I said he actually has 4 boosters.
Oh, no. Well, you better. No, don't mean to be harsh, but you better convince him quick.
Oh,
right? Okay.
I've tried.
Here's from South Africa to Western Australia. The flights go all the way up here and down, or all the way over here and down, or all the way there and down. But on a flat Earth, makes more sense. Look at them; they're straight lines. Makes more sense. I'm going to show you one more. This is the emergency landing, which is one of my favorites. Going from Hong Kong, they're supposed to go to the UK. They end up stopping in Germany. 12 hours flight. 4 hours into the flight, this mother drops dead. Dies suddenly. Weird, right? 2024. Dies suddenly. 2023. And her little kids and her husband are sitting with her. Mom's dead. You got to land a plane. I mean, if someone's having a heart attack, having a baby, not feeling well, throwing up, they'll land a plane. Right? And they didn't land the plane for 8 hours. Think about that. Could you sit next to your mom alive for 8 hours, let alone dead? Sorry, anybody. No offense to mothers. I'm just kidding, making a joke. Relax, everybody. Relax. Okay. So these kids are damaged for life. And then they decide to stop here. But if you look at it on a flat Earth, they were over Russia.
Oh, they couldn't stop.
And if they did, Russia would be very helpful and that could spark world peace, but God forbid. Right. But if they landed there, then they'd have to admit that they were over Russia And then people like me and all the other flat earthers would be like, it's because the earth is flat. So they couldn't land because they were over Russia. There's no reason to go over Russia on the globe map. I mean on the flat earth, well, on the globe, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. There's tons. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings. There's a PDF online, or you could buy it at lulu.com or find it on my app. And it's all documented, all of the stuff. You know, some of the landings are this, this one goes all the way up and then all the way down, rather than just go straight across the Lima Pro. What's up? What's wrong with that? I think this leg is even longer than this leg, but it goes all the way up here to California or Seattle to get fuel. All right. Does that make any sense?
No, but on a flat earth, it always makes sense.
It always makes sense on a flat earth.
See, I'm on board.
Yeah.
But like, so what do you think? Like, what do you think they're like? The extra territories, like God is real. Like, what is it? What do you think they're trying to hide from us?
They're trying to we don't even have to get it. They're trying to hide, they're trying to hide God. They're trying that's the number one thing, because a civilization that has a firm understanding that there is a creator is a hard one to control, because then God, man, then maybe government. Government's trying to get above God. Okay. They're already above man in most people's eyes, not mine. I've unplugged from that BS matrix. Okay. So that they're trying to hide more land, resources, free energy. Imagine if you guys didn't have to pay for electricity, heat, or fuel for your car. You can have as much of it as you wanted, and it wasn't bad for the environment. Then you'd probably free you up a little bit, right? You'd probably be like, you know, I'm going to need to work that much. You know what? I think I'm going to grow a garden and build deck chairs. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to, you know, I have all the power I need. And then you're going to trade that, and you're not going to need their nonsense education and everything else. So that's what they want. That's what they're hiding. Last one here. Flight from Australia, all of them that go to the United States and Mexico, they all go north of Hawaii. Look at it on a globe. Makes no sense. There's no reason to go north of Hawaii. It doesn't make any sense on a globe, but that's the way they go. North of Hawaii.
It is. I believe it's the flat earth too. I don't know honestly, at this point in time, after all the stuff I've been researching or looking into, I don't even know what's real anymore at all. You know,
Jackson, one thing that we know is that we don't know a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Globers think they know everything. Globers like, well, you know, gravity holds the air down. Oh, have you ever tried to experiment that? Oh, stars are gases that collapsed upon each other. When do gases collapse? Gases violently fill the available space in every circumstance, everywhere, except in space. How much gas do you need expanding before it goes, oh, there's too much gas, I'm going to collapse upon myself, and I'm going to make a burning ball? You know, our sun is 186,000 miles around or across.
Yeah, that's what they tell us.
186,000 miles, and it's burning gas in space. It's, you know, nuclear fusion or whatever they want to say it is, right? It's burning like 640 billion tons. It's either a second or a minute. I forget the number, but it's either way. It's stupid, ridiculous for billions of years. And it hasn't burnt out. It hasn't changed size. None of that. And our star next to another star is like a grain of sand next to a New York City building. All right. These other stars are so big that it makes our star look like nothing. Right. So, and then it's floating in a void, a vacuum. This is nonsense. This is absolute scientific impossibility nonsense. Here.
So, Dave, let me ask you, where do you live, Dave?
I live in Connecticut.
Connecticut. So, a couple of weeks ago, was it the AT&T network went down for a day? Were you around?
I was in Mexico.
Okay, so you weren't in the country, but I guess you heard about it. Did you hear what they blamed it on?
They blamed on a solar flare, of course. They're trying to do all sorts of stuff. You know, solar flares, nonsense. Asteroids, nonsense. It's all nuclear bombs nonsense if you go down that rabbit hole. But I have a question for you. Where do I live, and where was I 2 weeks ago?
Connecticut, you live. You just told me you
live in California.
No. Where do I live?
Yeah, Connecticut.
And where was I 2 weeks ago?
Mexico.
Okay. Do you believe that, or do you know it?
No. I don't believe it.
I believe it because you told me.
Okay, and because we can't go through this life not believing. You have to believe. Like, you guys
Yeah.
are using your senses. You're like, why would you lie about that? Makes perfect sense.
Right.
But if I said gun to your head, you know, if you're wrong, you know, you're gonna have to think twice. Like, well, you know, you did say it. I don't know who this guy is. He's a freaking flat earther. I don't know. Let me think about it. So belief is the enemy of knowing. You can believe, it's easy, it takes no effort, takes no time, and you have lots of times to smoke weed, drink, sleep, watch sports, whatever you want. Okay. But to know takes time and effort. Your father's not going to take the time and effort to look. He's not going to work his brain because you know, education is memorization and regurgitation. That's what you know, they trained us never not to think. So
Right.
they tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. So we're here, and in the morning the sun's 93 million miles away, and it's a little cool. And then at noon, the sun's 93 million miles away, and it's warm. And then in the evening, the sun's 93 million miles away, and it's cool again, right? On a flat Earth model, the sun's small and close. It's far here in the morning. It's cool. It gets closer, not 90, not the same distance. Whatever distance this is, I'm not claiming a distance. It's just farther away. It's closer. It's warmer. It's farther away. It's cooler again. Okay.
Wow, that's crazy. I never thought about that. Why is it that at the same distance, certain times of the day, the sun
Right.
is like,
And they tell you the seasons are
way
because of
off?
the tilt of the earth, but the spin of the earth is the same thing. It's tilting at, you know, they say in our summer we're directed towards the sun more, and in our winter we're tilted away. Well, think about the spin. At sunrise and sunset, we're tilted 89 degrees. We're tilted as far as you can be. But in the summer, the sun on the horizon is still warmer than the sun in the winter here in Connecticut, when it's at noon at its highest point for the day. A much more direct angle. And, you know, they tell us in the northern winter, the sun is closer, 3 million miles closer than in the northern summer. Everything's convoluted. Let me just finish this. So the sun goes on June 21st across the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, this is just a flat Mercator map or whatever it is. Okay, and it's just showing you. So here is it's going right over Miami, and it's warmer in the States in the summer because the sun is closer. Then it goes farther away. It's nighttime over here in America, and it's colder, right? So the sun is there. And then in December, the sun's down here. It's farther away from us. What happens when you're looking at a street light that's right above you? It's right above you. What about the one down the road? Is it above you or is it lower? It's lower. It's the same height. It's the same 25 feet or whatever it is, but it's lower. One's above me and one's over there. Whoops. One's over there. So a farther sun, the winter sun, is farther away. It's farther south. It's lower in the sky. It's higher in the sky for these guys because it's close to them. When something's close to you, it's high. When they move it away, it gets lower, right? It just have somebody hold a light bulb 15 feet in the air over your head and point at it. And then when they walk away, keep pointing at it. You're pointing lower and lower and lower and lower until it merges with the horizon and disappears. All right. So this is what it looks like on a flat Earth. In the summer, the sun just, in our summer, northern summer, June, it just goes around here. And then in the winter, it migrates out and it goes around here. And it's colder, it's warmer in January in Australia because,
Reverse, right?
yeah, because that's what it's doing. So here's my app. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. I can call somebody over here, ready. I call them now. I say, where's the sun? And they go, it's right above me. I go, what time is it? They're like, it's noon. Right. And then I could wait until it gets over here and call somebody in Johannesburg, and they'll be like, it's right above me. It's noon. Right. So here I am. Now, this is half and half because we're right near the equinox, but this actually changes. I'll show you. The shape of the light changes because when it gets out near the dome, it wraps around more. But here comes the sun. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning, 9, 10, 11. It's going to be noon right here in Connecticut. Right here in Connecticut. Okay. And then the sun goes around and it's nighttime over here now. But if I jump the sun to where are we? We're in March, April, May, June, July, August, right? You see the shape is changing. And then we go out back to December, November, December, the light, when you get out here, it wraps around the dome a little bit. So you have the greater areas of light. greater areas of light. And this is exactly what time and date show us.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think? Like, what is all of it then? Like, I mean, I'm not trying.
Okay, so I'll just because obviously I was kind of the one that wasn't completely
Yeah.
on board with flat Earth going into this, but one thing I can get on board with, and I like this saying, is that we are gods with amnesia. And I think you kind of tapped into this at the beginning where you said you feel that we have the power to manifest our reality, and that if we think we're in this floating ball in space and we don't have a real understanding of our true history and where we came from, that we won't be able to use that power. So I guess my question is, do you think we are beings that had godlike powers at some point, and we have now forgotten, or been purposely, that information has been purposely held back from us?
The way I see it is we are all eternal souls, and and souls, I say, are the accumulation of God. So we're all a piece of the Creator. However you want to interpret that, don't freak out, Christians. Right? We're all a piece of God. We're filled. We have God within us. Okay. And we're here to expand the mind of God. It's amazing that our thoughts create a reality. Everything in your life, good or bad, is your fault. It's your fault because of your thoughts. It really is. And you guys created this podcast because you thought about it, you imagined it. So your imagination builds incredible things. But if you wrap that around a ball and say there's nothing else, you can't even imagine outside that ball because you don't even know how to. You don't even have the ability to imagine outside the ball. All right. So they've put you into a prison for your mind.
Prison planet.
Well, interesting that Alex says that, right?
Yeah, you remember when it was all named Prison Planet? Yeah, that is interesting for sure.
Yeah. Trying to find a quick little video to show you guys real quick. Where is it? Say something while I'm looking.
Hey man, this has been very interesting. I would love to go take this and show this to a few of my friends who absolutely laugh at me, because I remember like a few years ago when I actually saw a couple of your videos. I think I saw your appearance on Tinfoil Hat actually.
Yeah.
And I think I went to my buddy's house like that weekend after I saw that video, and I was like, "Hey bro, like check this out." And they were all laughing at me, acting like I was an absolute idiot. But these are also guys that, at the beginning of COVID wouldn't buy into anything I was trying to, tell them about COVID when I came to the truth about that. So, maybe years down the line, they'll start to open up to this kind of thing.
It's hard to change someone's mind, though, when they're so stuck into the thing. Like, I mean, unless
no one wants to admit they've been tricked.
Yeah,
that's
and like,
the problem.
Well, then the fact that if the Earth is flat, that means everything you've ever learned your entire life is a lie.
Exactly. Right. And how am I going to go to somebody like my dad, who considers himself a well-educated guy, used to be an investigative journalist, like,
which is the craziest thing, that he doesn't take the openness to fucking learn this stuff, being an investigative journalist.
Exactly, but because that, he thinks, okay, yeah, I know pretty much what is true and what isn't, or that he can at least dissect information better than me. So for me to go to him and show him this evidence, it would be just like you would take it as an offense.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is, like, I've even noticed with all the flat or the round Earth people, they just tell you because science, but they don't have any backing. They don't have any actual knowledge to anything. They just say, well, the TV told me because science.
Yeah, and science is the new religion, man.
But science is not true. Like, it's just somebody telling you things until you prove things yourself. Like, unless you see it for your physical self, like, I've heard you, Dave, saying it before. Like, you take someone who doesn't know anybody or know anything about anything, you tell them the flat Earth, and then you tell them the round Earth, and just see which one makes more sense in your head. The one that makes more sense is the flat Earth, because it makes sense. Like, how come we can take a picture, or they can tell me what's inside of a black hole and how it works 15 million light years away, but I can't get a picture of Antarctica? How the hell does that work?
Right.
Right. Why? Why can't I get a regular picture of the landscaping and of everything in it, but you can tell me how a black hole works and all that jazz millions of light years away, but I can't just get a damn picture?
I really was convinced with the flight path stuff, honestly, man. I think that's like, you can't even argue with that, because obviously, why would these companies that
waste money fucking
we know these companies are all about their profit. They're gonna cut every corner they can to make more money. So why would they actually extend their flight paths and waste more money?
The argument you're going to get for that is flying from Santiago to Australia takes too long, and it wouldn't work on a flat Earth because there's shorter flights in the inner north that take the same amount of time or even more time, right? And guess what? All the international flights are run by NASA. You guys know how fake NASA is, right?
Oh, fuck
Oh,
yeah.
buddy, we
Okay,
love that subject.
okay.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are talking to two guys that know all about
Oh, yeah.
that. So
Yeah, so
you
so
just
on the
gave me what
frequently
to
asked
move on.
questions page, there's Southern Flights right here. And if you click
Yeah.
that, there's tons of videos that perfectly explain the weather patterns, how they do it, how these planes fly. The plane that flies from Santiago to Australia or New Zealand is the Dreamliner something. It's a special plane. It's completely different from every other plane. It has 7 layers of heat resistant paint. It's only flown by like a half a dozen military pilots. Heat resistant paint. What is that saying? Maybe it's going a little faster than they're telling us. And
Yeah.
it's it varies. Sometimes they're 5 hours longer than they should have been. Like, why is that? Well, the winds that they were supposed, the tailwinds that they're supposed to get in didn't cooperate. But the winds are very consistent. They know exactly what levels these winds are at. There's counter rotating winds. And we saw a paper that there's winds at 45,000 feet, 350-mile-an-hour winds. Get in that? A tailwind, 350 miles an hour? That's going to
Oh,
speed
yeah.
you up from 550 to 900 miles an hour. Yeah, 900 miles an hour. Land speed.
Yeah.
You know, people.
Like-
I always use the analogy. If I was going to drive from Connecticut to California in my in my Porsche 911 turbo, and my grandmother was going to drive in her Volkswagen Bug to Salt Lake City at the same time, who's going to get there first? Who's going to get to their destination first? I'm going to. You know why? Because I'm going faster.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Well, Dave, man, I gotta say, you've definitely given me a lot to think about here,
See,
man.
I'm glad I got you on just to open up the minds.
Steve, this is what you got to do. You got to get the app. The app is $3. It's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com. It's $3. Now, there is a subscription for using the friend finder and profiles and stuff. If I show you what the friend finder is, basically shows you all of the other flat earthers near you, and you can click on any of these dots and you can make friends with them. You can video call, you can chat, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can do meetups, and people are literally getting married. There's kids because of this. People have met. And by the way,
it's on my Hinge. Actually, I have it on my Hinge profile right now as one of my prompts that I recently discovered the Earth is flat, just as a joke.
Dude, let me tell you something. Once you fully understand it, you're not going to want to hang out with other people that aren't. Right? Look at this.
Yeah.
This is the people here. Look, it's
we're in
crazy.
Toronto.
Yeah,
We're in there.
yeah. So
I mean, it makes sense.
Wow.
it's
That's a cool resource there.
it's growing, and it does a ton. But by the way, on the app, for those of you that don't know, right here is a button. It's called your referral button, and when you open it, this will be a random number right here. This is just a test account, so don't use it. And click the pencil, put in anything up to 7 characters. It could be 2. Put your name in there, whatever you want. And that way, whenever you tell someone about Flat Earth and you show them the app, because you're going to want to pull up pictures and stuff, they're going to go, where do I get the app? And say, use my referral code. And if you get 12 points, you can trade it in for a subscription, right?
Oh, cool.
But a lot of people don't like trading it in because it'll take 11 off of your points, and then you'll move down on the leaderboard, right? The leaderboard is... The leaderboard's pretty cool.
The structure you set up here, man. I love this.
I like it.
It's good.
This is what's necessary, though, man, to have all this stuff on go. Because when I bring this up to my friends, right away they're going to shoot it down, and I need to have about 50 different pieces of solid evidence at my fingertips at all times.
Here's the thing: the frequently asked questions is that'll hold you forever, because all the questions they're going to ask are in there, and all the videos. And every single video in there, Google is hiding from you. That should make you a flat earther right there. They're hiding it. You could search in underwater basket weaving, Godzilla, whatever, and videos will come up. But you search for flat earth, the propaganda videos will come up. Even if you have flat earth in your history, you watched a dozen of my videos. What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Even when I looked you up, it was all articles saying, "Oh, disproven, this and that." Right?
How's it disproven? Right? And then when the trolls come on your channel and start leaving comments, saying flat Earth is stupid, Dave's a scammer, he's just trying to sell apps. Ask them what their globe proof is, and go look at their channel. 0 content, 0 subs, 0 0. It's just they're just trolls and bots.
My older brother, his girlfriend, I argue with her all the time about the flat Earth and the government and everything like that. And when I finally shut her down, where she refused to even like message me back or anything, she said about satellites. I said, well, show me a live feed satellite of you waving to it right now outside your house. Walk outside your house, find a satellite that's a live feed satellite, and wave to it and show me that video. And then I never heard back from her again. She couldn't do it. Couldn't show me a live feed satellite because they don't have them.
Yeah, let's talk about satellites just for a minute. Satellites are balloons, okay? The things that are up there are balloons. There may be other ways that they can put stuff up there with quantum locking and all sorts of stuff, but NASA launches tens of thousands of these satellites up to 8,000 pounds on friggin' balloons, right? Yeah. It's not a theory. They admit it, and now they're trying to go back. But have you guys
I was just about to ask about Starlink.
Have you seen the Starlink satellites? Have you seen them? I've seen them.
I have seen this.
Yeah.
My friend saw them in person actually in Peterborough, Ontario, and sent me a video a couple summers ago of what you're showing here. And he said, dude, the aliens are invading. He had no idea what it was, right? So he called me in a panic.
Yeah. So one thing we notice when some people under them will look, and the stars that are right near them disappear as the Starlink goes by. Kind of like they're on the bottom of like a big airship or something, and the airship is cloaked, if you will, or just you can't see it because no light is reflecting off of it, but it's blocking what's above it. I don't know. It's just one theory. Another thing that happens is people hear a jet fighter way out in front and another jet fighter way behind it.
Really?
Now that's a problem. That's a big problem. Well, one, that is because these look like they're very low. You know why they look like they're very low?
They are?
Because they are very low. Okay. And they don't want some guy in a Cessna flying over and seeing what the hell they are. So the jet fighters are there to keep the airspace clear. That's my opinion. I don't know. I've never seen any proof of that. Right.
But and also you said just like the stars or space or airships. So like when I was looking at some stuff, they said airships. So like, what exactly is an airship? I'm not talking a plane, like an airship. I think of a ship, something you can walk on the outside of, and like a cruise ship.
On the homeschool section of the app, that top row I showed you in the homeschool area, the second guy is I'm the Improbable Dreamer, Jake. He's got stuff on airships. There used to be airships that hold thousands of people that flew all over the earth. Okay,
yeah,
that's
like
being hidden from us.
No.
Just like airship, like blimps, like the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can walk on the outside of it. Like,
but there's outdoor areas. There's movie theaters. I mean, they had crazy. There's elevators. It's crazy. And I
didn't really realize this until I was looking at. What the fuck is an airship? And like we don't have airships anymore, so they had some sort of thing that was like a ship flying through the air, not like a space like Star Wars where you're enclosed, where it's like a cruise ship that's in the air.
Yeah, I see. Almost like what you see in like the ancient hieroglyphs or whatever. Yeah, like that one image that looks like a blimp.
Yeah, so they just watch his stuff on airships. He's got actual video.
I will.
They used to dock to docking stations, the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower, right? Those are docking stations. Which produce more helium, and they'd be able to explore where we don't want them to explore. Therefore, we have to get rid of airships. So they had the false flag of the Hindenburg, which demonized hydrogen, and they related it to hydrogen bombs. And then there's always a helium shortage. You know why? NASA owns all of the helium fields in the world.
No, why is helium the only component that can like resist the gravitational force? Why is helium the only thing? Man, I'm on board with this.
Well, it's like I've even heard like fucking that what's his name? Albert Einstein was a crock of shit. That's what I heard.
He was a total farce. So
Yeah.
Let's go back. Just hang on for a second. So let's talk about Starlink, those Starlinks that we saw. Now use your common sense here. Okay. This is a 747. You see the engine here? You can fit probably 30 Starlink satellites inside that engine. Let's just say 10 though. Okay. Because the engine's so big and Starlinks are the size, they're really small. So you can fit 10 Starlinks in here. All right. Here's a 747 at cruising altitude. Can you see the engines? No. I mean, this is just a picture. Go outside and watch. You'll see an airplane. I see the wings. I see it. I don't know what airline it is because it's just gray. And I cannot identify the engines because they're too small, right? It's perspective makes things smaller. Your eye has a certain resolution limit and it can only see things a certain distance. Yeah. This is 5 to 7 miles up. The Starlink at that height, 5 to 7 miles, would be you wouldn't be able to see it because it's tiny. It's tiny, tiny, right? So 7 miles up, these are just tiny little things. They're about 3 times the size of this human, which you couldn't even see. You didn't even know this was a human there. Okay.
I didn't even notice that. Nope.
You didn't even notice, right? Nope. So if that human was up here, you wouldn't be able to see him, right? Of course not. Well, Starlinks are 340 miles high.
Wow, is that what they claim? Holy shit.
That's what they tell you. 340 miles high. And you're seeing those lights go by. Wait a minute. Those lights do go by. What are they? I don't know. Good answer, right? The other thing is Starlink service works. What's going on? How does it work? Right?
Underground shit?
So,
underground
connections? 99% of the communications in the world are done with undersea cables. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. And here they tell us that there's satellites, whizzing all around. Remember, the Earth is swirling and twirling and corkscrewing through space.
Oh, the satellites.
Those are all the satellites.
These are all satellites, and the pink things are debris. So the green is satellites, the pink is debris. This is what they're showing you is going on, right? This is what is supposedly going on in space, and somehow they know exactly where they are, so they can triangulate and tell you exactly where you are. Okay, which is not real. That it's complete and total nonsense. So let's jump forward here. Yeah. So this is what's going on. The Earth is spinning at all these curves, speeding up and slowing down, but somehow the satellites mirror all of those images, and a geostationary satellite 22,000 miles away can stay right over America while it's corkscrewing through space.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's beyond doesn't make sense. It's absolutely stupid. Okay. And the reason your brain can't figure it out is because it's stupid. You can't figure it out. Okay. So
they tell you science.
Yeah. So science. So 22,000 miles away, we're curling. And what the hell is going on there? So why do we need all of these little satellites? Okay. So here's how I look at it. People have satellite phones and they work. The Starlink service works, right? So Starlink service, you could have internet as long as you're near a cell tower, as long as you can reach a cell tower, right? The higher a cell tower, the bigger its circle of range is, right? The higher, the better. Higher, the better. Now, what does a cell tower need? It needs a power source, not just a solar panel. It needs a real power source. It needs to be maintenance. It needs service. It needs to be, worked on. It can't just work forever in space. And you need to know where they are at all times. Okay. So I drove from South Jersey to Connecticut on the phone, and I was on the phone the whole time on a long call, and I didn't lose my call the whole way. Right. So that's because I'm traveling and I'm going from tower to tower to tower, and all the towers, they make this grid, and you're just going from tower to tower to tower to tower. Now, let me ask you a question. If I was staying still and all of those towers were moving together in unison, they're all moving, and I was always within one of the circles, it would still work, right? I would still be handed off from tower to tower as the towers move. Whether I'm moving or the tower's moving, there's no difference, right? As long as I have connection to a tower.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can you have towers in the air with power that are moving, right? Satellites they're all over the friggin' place. They're too far away. You can't like they're ridiculous distances away, right? Well, we already have a network. Okay, we already have a network of what? Airplanes. They're everywhere. They already have the equipment. You have internet on the airplane. They have the receivers. They're connecting to towers. They're doing everything. So all they're doing is with a satellite phone, you are connecting to an airplane. You have a strong cell phone. If you can't reach a tower, it'll go to an airplane and it'll relay you to another tower or to another airplane, and then to a tower. And then once you're connected like that, you go through. It works perfectly. It's like the same way that cruise ships do it. And this is all it is. If they were not doing this, that is fiscally irresponsible. This is irresponsible. Look at this. These are all satellites.
Yeah.
They're all serviceable. They're all powered up. We know where they are. AI could also predict, hey, at 3:00 in the afternoon, it looks like we're gonna need a plane over here. So they could send a plane over there. They can send a balloon over there. They could do whatever they want to fill in the hole. But we have so many flights that are out there that it doesn't make any sense. That there's rarely ever any holes because they're so high. You know, a regular cell tower, let's say it has 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius. I don't know. Maybe they're 5 miles. Who knows? An airplane with that same tower on it could have a 500-mile radius or maybe even more.
Yeah, you've never driven through Regina.
So this is how they do it. And they charge you through the nose for it.
Yeah. Well, I do know, like, if you drive through Saskatchewan from some of those towns to some of those towns, you do lose all service altogether. That is a real thing. Because I tried, when I first started doing this podcasting stuff, I was working out in Regina, and I was driving, I don't know, it was like a 6-hour drive from one town to the next town, and I couldn't even get my phone to record my voice or anything into the thing to try to even record anything, because I lost all services. Well, probably because Regina is
right, and people that go up into the mountains,
you lose service.
People think that their cell phones are using satellites, right? Which is stupid because the cell phone companies don't even say that. They say they use towers, right?
Yeah.
But people, you lose service when you go up into the mountains. Why? There's no towers near you. Okay, you're being blocked from the mountain. If there was satellites, you would have service everywhere. But there's no service in the middle of the Amazon jungle. There's no service in between California and Hawaii because there's no towers.
So they claim that every time I fire up my phone on LTE, that it's connect. This is the mainstream claim that every time I use internet on my phone, it's actually connecting to a satellite.
I know. I don't even think they claim that. But if they do, it's
people
stupid.
claim it.
Okay.
Yeah, people claim it, but it's not true. It's not true at all. Dish Network doesn't even claim they use satellites. They use cell towers.
Well, I heard you saying Sirius satellite radio. They don't use satellite.
Right. Yeah. But the people at that work there don't know it. They don't know it. They don't need to know. Right. Yeah. They might even be paying, all that money for satellites. And then, NASA's giving them a connection to, an access to airplanes. How would you know what's routing your call? Wait, what's routing our call together now? Which servers are routing us? Are they in space? Are they underground? Are they, in New Jersey? You don't know where your call is being routed. You don't know.
No.
So how would you know if it's going from a satellite or from a 747?
All I know is my computer's plugged into a cord that's plugged into a router that goes in and underground into some station. That's what I know.
Yeah, fiber optics.
But anything wireless, if you're getting a signal, you don't know where that signal's coming from.
No, you're just guessing.
Right. I mean, you don't know. And to think that it's coming from a satellite, 22,000 miles away. When the guy did the Red Bull jump, you guys know about the Red Bull jump, right?
Yeah. With the fisheye lens.
Yeah. They were losing communication with him at 127,000 feet. That's 20 miles. At 20 miles, they couldn't communicate with him. Okay.
Well, that's crazy, man.
Well, it's like the guy on the guy in the NASA who watches the thing, the guy in the NASA ship saying, like, how the hell are we supposed to go to the moon if we can't even communicate between?
And then he was dead. Yeah, and then he's dead. Gus Grissom.
Then he died.
So here's the Go Fast rocket, which is better than NASA because they uninterrupted. Not NASA, SpaceX, edit. No edits. Right, the thing's going up, and all of a sudden it goes kerplunk into a thicker medium. Right. If you on the app, if you go to the more resources page and then you scroll to the bottom, the unedited with sound video is, and it's doing this weird floaty thing, right? And then it turned on its side, and all of a sudden we could see the moon, which is right there. It's the moon. Earth is looking pretty flat too.
Yeah.
It's the moon, right? So it was done in Arizona, which is right here at 11 o'clock in the morning. 12 o'clock sun. The moon was over here. So if here's Arizona, that rocket was a fraction of a millimeter above this ball. And the moon was down here. How would they see the moon?
You wouldn't.
Refraction. Come on, that's how they would see it. It would refract up and pretend to be at the same level. No, you're right. You wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see it unless the Earth was flat.
Yeah. No, I'm on board. I'm 100%. That's why I was happy to get you on here.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Jackson, if you keep looking, right? Very, very important on the app. If you go to, by the way, if you long press any button, it'll tell you what it is. It tells you what it does. That way you'll learn what all the buttons is. The one that looks like a spider web right here is called More Resources. And when you click it, up come a ton of more resources. One on the bottom is the Go Fast Rocket right here. But right here are the videos that you want to watch. These are documentaries. These are awesome. Level with me, the next level. But A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 Questions. That's the one you hit your dad with and say, Dad, we had this guy on. I got a limited amount of time. He thinks the Earth is flat. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't prove him wrong. Can you help me? Because I'm feeling really stupid, and I think you failed as a father if you don't help me. All right. And whatever it is. And then this video has the top 21 questions that you would claim proves the globe, and it destroys them in 3, 4, 5 minute clips. Boom, 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 boom.
Everybody.
And if you watch this video with anybody, they now have, all of those seeds planted in them. And mention the Bitcoins. Mention the Bitcoins. Say, Dad, we can split it. We can, this will be awesome. Can you help me win this? The guy's for real. Okay. And then if he doesn't help you, he's a failure. But if he does help you, he'll be a flat earther.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey man,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm impressed with this this setup that you have here. You've built a very cool system here.
Yeah,
man.
it's awesome, man.
Yeah, the trolls are going to say, I'm just here selling apps. I'm here to wake up the world, okay? I'm here to wake up the world. And I want every single person in the world to buy my app, which will make me fabulously rich. But at that point, money is going to collapse. It's going to be worth nothing, right? It's not about money. I walked away from a lot of money to do this, to be called a fucking crazy flat earther.
Sure.
All right?
I'm sure.
So there you go. FlatEarthDave.com. Anybody that's listening to this, go to FlatEarthDave.com. If you don't want to get the app, fine. Scroll down to the crash course. There's tons of stuff there. There's tons of resources. And prove me wrong. Take my Bitcoin, please. Yeah.
Awesome. This has been great, man. Thank you very much for your time, man. Can't thank you enough.
It's very
awesome. You've definitely opened my eyes here just in this last hour to thinking that the very thing we live on is an absolute and complete fucking lie, man.
Everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. And it matters because if you play on their ball field, you have to play by their rules.
Yeah.
So once you unplug from their system, you no longer are afraid of them. You see through everything. Once you open your eyes to flat Earth, you can see through all the other fakeness, all of the fakeness. Connecticut, Boston, New York, everything. And everything that's coming too. You're going to see right through it. You're going to see right through it. And that's important because they need us living in fear. So FlatEarthDave.com. See you there. Get the app. Share it with others, and let's wake up the world. We now have enough people out there where we literally can wake up the world in 2024 if people just start talking and stop being afraid.
2024, wake up the world.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to book me on a show, if you know of a show, send me a link. Say, hey, these guys are good. They mentioned Flat Earth or whatever. Or if you have a show, want me, go to FlatEarthDave.com. There's a book, Flat Earth Dave, and you send me some information. We can start a chat and set up an interview. All right?
Yeah. All right, Dave.
And Dave, I'll do a screen recording video and show you that Antarctica stuff I was talking about at the beginning.
Will you send that to me right away, please? I need to
send
see
it to you
that
right away. Yeah,
all right,
no problem. I'm happy to actually have something to show you. That's
all right.
Awesome.
Awesome, guys. See ya. Thanks.
Thank you so much,
all
man.
Right, Dave. Have a good
all
one,
right,
man.
Send me a link. Send me a link when this is up, and I'll share it. It'll be right on the app. By the way, on the app, right in the if you hit the more resources again, the web button, right here is interviews, and if you click that, you'll be right at the top of it when you guys' episode comes out. as long as you
That
send
is
it.
awesome.
All right.
Yes, I will send it to you as soon as it's done.
All right.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Really
Peace, man.
appreciate it.
See ya.